Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, guys, where do we start? It's just bad news after bad news after bad news. Guys, today we've just had the Hillsborough report. So, we're talking 36 years since the terrible tragedy at Hillsborough in Liverpool fans who went to a cup semi-final expecting to see their team play, and 97 of those fans never returned. So they were young men, young women, boys and girls who never returned. And what we're finding out today, guys, so that was from 1989. We're now 36 years later. What we're finding out, guys, is that the initial police reports, etc., were absolute fabrications of the truth. They blamed the Liverpool fans for the crush and for their own injuries, etc., which was disgusting. So not only the parents, family, etc., friends have to suffer the absolute anguish of their children and friends, etc., having perished in such awful conditions, but then to actually lay the blame on the dead is beyond contempt. And we are now finding out that 12 of those serving officers, if they were still in the force today, would be facing disciplinary charges. Well, my point on this, guys, is that why can't we look at these people now, if they're still alive? Why can't we remove their pensions, remove their knighthoods, remove all of whatever accolades they've been given? We've done it to people who were involved in the Second World War. So whether they were 80 years old, 90 years old, 100 years old, the hunters hunted them down and brought them to justice. So, yeah, I can understand the police are saying that they can't do anything, blah, 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 because they're no longer serving officers. But surely there's something we can do to bring these people to some kind of justice, because there has to be some accountability. 97 people lost their lives, and so many of the parents and the friends and relatives who have fought for their justice have now passed as well. So we cannot allow these people to go through without any justice and without any accountability. So I'm just looking at this and I'm scratching my head, because it seems to happen each and every time. We've got the post office IT scandal. We've got Grenfell. It goes back to even John de Menezes. Is it Jean-Marie de Menezes? And I looked at that, and what made me so angry about that, guys, is that that was under the watch of Cressida Dick. And I remember seeing that. So whatever the issue was, blah, 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 every person who was involved in that was promoted. They all were elevated up the ladder. It was almost like they were rewarded for their gross, it beggars belief. And the sad thing is, guys, it happens again and again and again and again. I just don't know what we're going to do, guys. So now, this plank, this piece of wood, who calls himself David Lammy, who calls himself a justice minister, I don't even know, words fail me. I don't even know where to start. So since we had the last escapees just weeks ago, we're now finding out that 12 more prisoners were released in error under this man's watch, David Lammy, and 2 of those 12 are still at large. It beggars belief. 2 of those 12 are still at large. But my point with David Lammy is he's doing a terrible job. So when the previous 2 who are at large, who have now given up or who have now gone back into the jail system or been deported, Lammy said they were going to give it the best ever and the most stringent ever measures to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Well, 12 have been released in error and 2 are still at large. What on earth is going on? I don't even know. Is this deliberate? I really don't know. It can't just be coincidence. I do not believe in coincidence, people. I don't believe in coincidence. When it happens, this on this regular basis, with this regularity, it can't be a coincidence, can it? It can't. But I think I know the reason behind this. I think a lot of it is, well, I'd like to say the word, but I don't know if I can. But I think a lot of this is all to do with the national ID, the digital ID that they're looking to make each and every single one of us citizens adopt. They will force it on us. So within the prison system, they keep telling us it's all paper-based, blah, 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 blah. They are going to be the early adopters. Already the army are early adopters of this national ID, this digital ID. Prisoners will be adopters of this digital ID. And bit by bit by bit, piecemeal, we will wake up in not too many months or weeks or a year or so from now and find out that we are all on this digital ID system. They're putting it through the NHS already as well. So they're going to say, oh, try and go to the NHS via online. If you go online, you're going to have some kind of digital ID. It is all premeditated. Nothing happens per chance. It's all a plan that has been orchestrated, and it's been in the offing for a very long time. So don't think this is just a knee-jerk reaction. What this man Lammy is doing, he's doing the bidding of the other members of his party and others who hide in the shadows. We, at some point, will be forced to adopt the digital ID by fair means or foul. Please don't get it twisted. They are making certain that we adopt this digital ID. And if we refuse, they will take away our liberties. They'll take away our right to work, our rights to probably even use the internet. That's what they're going to do. And I don't know how much we could do to fight it. I really don't. And the last thing I was going to talk about was NATO, the EU, Zelensky, and what's going on with the war between Russia and the Ukraine. Guys, it's something when we have Trump and his aides who are trying to negotiate a deal that will make peace between Russia and Ukraine. But now you've got NATO who've gone in there with EU who are trying to push for a war. They're even looking at a preemptive strike against Russia. And if that happens, then it's going to be all-out war. And that's what they're looking for. Most of the economies in Europe are all over the floor. They've actually fallen through the floor, people. And this is as good a time as any for these countries to use this as an excuse to wage a war, which they think will benefit themselves. So they're looking at 1984, George Orwell, where they turn everything is inverted, where they say that war is peace, peace is war, and that's the language they've been using. We've seen Zelensky holding hands with Macron the other day, and then with the Taoiseach, I don't know the Irish Prime Minister's name. Is it the Taoiseach or Taoiseach? Is it the Taoiseach? I think it is. Excuse me if I've got that wrong. Let me know in the comment section. Is it the Taoiseach? Please let me know. Anyway, so today he was there shaking hands, hugging and whatever. And then we've even got Canada getting involved. And the reason why Canada is getting involved is because it's not going to be a European war. It is going to be a world war. It's going to be a World War III. This is what they've been pushing for a long time. All they need to do is to line up their ducks, get their ducks in a line. Takes a bit of time, but that's what they've been doing for the last couple of years, maybe even longer. But at some point, you need to ask yourselves and you need to prepare yourselves and you need to say, do you support a third world war? Will you let your children face and fight a third world war? When you realize that this third world war is nothing to do with protecting us. It is to do with protecting their assets, protecting their financial houses, protecting their wealth. Nothing to do with us. We are just useless, not useful, but we are useless idiots to these people. They will hide in their nuclear bunkers and we will be ripped to shreds. Ripped to shreds. And whoever's left will have just to be there as a servant and a serf to serve them. That's all we are to them. We are useless at some points, and at some times we're useful. But remember, guys, the denominator is we are all idiots to them. That's all we are. We are idiots. So we've now got NATO dipping its toe into the... They're now saying and talking about preemptive strikes. But what really raises my ire is that Trump is trying to get a peace deal going. But at the same time, you've got Zelensky doing his European tour, holding hands with Starmer, pushing and pushing and pushing for war. Guys, I am left scratching my head. I don't know what to do or what to say anymore. I've said my piece, and yeah, you can take it whichever way you want to. But any which way we look at it, 2026 is not going to be a good year for any of us. But if you've got a job, please hold on to your job like it was a long lost lover, because 2026, 2027, jobs will be scarce at best. At best. That's all I'm going to say on that, guys. So, guys, as we head into another evening, make sure you look after yourselves, you look after each other, and I will see you at the next one.